Hello, we are Golden Boots addressing Challenge 4. We have Ben, Manju, Ben Green, Michael, Mohammed, and Yemi. Our challenge is to create a running budget system that allows project and asset managers to manage, analyze, and better predict cash flow and budget for their funders and stakeholders. This will allow consistency, relevance, and standardization for better data architecture. The current process requires the project manager to manually give the cost to the asset manager, then the asset manager manually updates an Excel spreadsheet for all the project costs. Our solution will provide project managers and asset managers a Power Apps form that will feed into an Excel spreadsheet and also into a Power Automate that will also feed back into a spreadsheet that will be used to generate a Power BI report that Gleeds can now access.
The solution that we created was in which a project manager could add an invoice or update an invoice to then process this into the next stage of approval. The adding invoice function allows them to add a invoice into the set of data, of which once they've clicked create invoice function, this would then go to the next line of approval via a Power Automate function. If a invoice is needing to be updated, this can be done via the Update Data button, which would then take them to the following screen, and they can search for an invoice and update information on the invoice by searching for or selecting the invoice, and then from there simply enter the information and click Update Invoice. The approval process that we set was just a simple notification to said individual. In future development, this can be set to, say, a group email address or certain function in the business for invoicing to be approved or rejected.
Hello, this is Mohammed Ashur. So we have built the dashboard comprising 4 pages. The first one is a brief introduction about what's presented across the board. The second page is an overview of the capital and R&M expenditure, the yearly one across different portfolios, buildings and project types, and also the overspend and underspend alongside the invoice status. What's the status of every invoice in every approval flow? This is in addition to the maximum minimum of the overspend and underspend, and this can be sliced using all the slices on the right side of the screen. This is in addition to some metrics concerning number of funds, number of projects and invoices that we're dealing with. And we have drilled through the data by creating a monthly expenditure for the capex and R&M alongside the cumulative one. And in order to do that, we have duplicated the main table into 12 tables for different months, and then we removed the unnecessary columns. We compiled them together into one huge table which contains the months and the expenditure, and that allowed us to build that visual. Another problem that we run through is having duplicated type. For the duplicated type because of the different entries, and then that's why we created a separate table with distinct values for the types, and then we linked it to the other 3 tables created using a one-to-many relationship with both cardinality. The last page of the dashboard is a replication of the Excel sheet with different slices to allow better reading of the data. Thanks.
Within the Power BI service, we had set the data to be on a scheduled refresh to keep the data relevant and up to date.
The Power Automate flow gets all the data in the table. It then initializes an empty variable. The next stage, Apply to Each, looks at each row in the Amount Euro column. Within the Apply to Each, there is a condition to check if any of the amount euro cells are blank, and if this is true, the initial variable is set to yes. The last stage is a condition where if the initialized variable is equal to yes, it sends an email notification with a reminder.
So the first question is related to the Python package that we could use in order to account for the extension. We could use scikit-learn package in order to build a multi-variable linear regression model, which could account for the project type, property type, and that could identify the monthly trends in the capex and R&M, and that would help better plan for the budgets in the future and their allocation.
The current data security is limited to OneDrive's business access tools. This is not ideal. As a result, we've built the data tables in Dataverse for future use and are in the progress of building a model-driven app. With both SQL database and Dataverse both being relational databases, there's very little to choose between them. An SQL database would be preferable due to cost and the anticipated volume of data, while the Dataverse, although it has greater security features, the impact would come at a premium cost